Coming up on WTV News, Wartburg Alliance brought Gala Week to campus. Find out what Alliance did to celebrate and educate the public.
We're averaging about 300 customers a day, something around there. So it's been pretty good, and it's picked up a little bit this week even because students are back.
And WTV takes an inside look at Waverly's newest fast food restaurant and its owner.
The White House is our house. Please let us visit.
And automatic spending cuts have shut down White House tours. See how this brought national attention to one local elementary school.
You're watching WTV News, live on Wartburg Television. From the Grant Price Studio. Breaking news, local coverage, and sports. This is WTV News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ben Hoppenworth.
And I'm Kyle Pomolia. This past week, Wartburg hosted one of the largest drag shows in northeastern Iowa. It's all part of the annual Wartburg Alliance Gala Week, which celebrates the LGBT community.
WTV's Caitlin Harback has more on what students did to promote this cause.
Jeremy Harbaugh may look like your average Iowa farm boy, but the freshman says he always knew that he was different.
I've always been a little feminine, always liked wearing dresses.
Harbaugh first came out as a bisexual at the beginning of the school year and later came out as a bigender.
I have a very strong masculine side and a very strong feminine side. It's kind of like a Siamese twin, except for instead of having two heads, you have two bodies.
This past week, students like Harbaugh celebrated their gender identities and sexualities through Gala Week, hosted by Wartburg Alliance. Alliance President Kate Huffman said the yearly celebration recognizes the LGBT community and creates a positive environment while doing so.
There are going to be LGBT people all around everyone. It's important to me to just spread information and to spread acceptance, but also to just foster a better feeling on campus.
Events included drag bingo, public speakers, and the largest event of the week, the drag show. The cabaret-styled show included both professional and student performers on campus. Professional drag queen Ebony Marie Powers has performed in Wartburg's show for the past 3 years. While she may not attend Wartburg, the atmosphere at the college makes her feel right at home.
I'm always a giver, so that's part of my personality. I do a lot of charity work and a lot of things that don't really pretty much benefit me, but they benefit someone else, and I enjoy doing that.
After performing in the drag show for the first time, Harbaugh says being a part of this week has changed him for the better.
It's just a moment to have fun and find out who you are. You don't have to be gay or lesbian or bisexual. You can say that I'm not going to discriminate against this group of people because you know me now and there's nothing wrong with me.
Reporting for WTV News, I'm Caitlin Harback.
A portion of funds raised during the drag show will go towards the Wartburg Malaria Initiative. The rest will be used towards future projects for the Alliance.
A Facebook page is having some students confessing. It's called Wartburg College Confessions, and it is a place to share your secrets with the Facebook world. Almost every college in the area has a similar page, all started within the last couple weeks. Admissions Vice President Todd Coleman says the comments posted don't always reflect the majority's opinion.
You hear the negative comments, those folks are much louder and much more vocal than the positive ones, but in the reality of it, they make up a very much smaller pool of the population.
And a Facebook page representing those positive comments started last week and is called Wartburg College Compliments. It has about half the likes of the confessions page. And confessing secrets isn't the only way Wartburg is using social media. Wartburg Service Trips has been using social media as a way for friends and family to see what they're doing and how they're serving. During the winter break trip, there were many status updates, pictures, and even a few Harlem Shake videos.
I think with our society, like our generation, we're just really into social networking. So if we can get to people through social networking, people are going to do it. I don't have a Twitter myself, but I know a lot of people are into it. Facebook, I was definitely on that, just kind of like you're proud of something that you do, so you put it up for everybody to see.
Last Tuesday, Wartburg hosted its annual Career and Internship Fair in the Hall of Champions. At the fair, students could talk to businesses about jobs and internships in the Cedar Valley region. Wartburg's internship coordinator Jo Dorrance offered her opinion on the importance of taking an internship while at Wartburg.
Getting an internship while you're still an undergraduate is one of the most important things that you can do. They're really looking now at students who've taken that initiative to do that out of the classroom experience. It matures you, it helps you realize this is something I'm going to want to do when I graduate.
And students in the biology department are working with animals for science. Fourth-year biology students are required to complete a research project throughout their senior year. Students must come up with a hypothesis and complete research to try to prove it. Research advisor Dr. Larimer said most students' research deals with seeing how animals react to toys being taken away from or added to their environment.
And the religion department will be adding 4 new diversity religion courses and a new professor next fall. Dr. Kuni Terasawa has come to Wartburg this past winter with a vision to add diversity into the religion department. Dr. Peter Nash says this will give students a new opportunity to do their second faith and reflection course in an area other than Christianity. The new course will also allow students as an opportunity to travel to Japan and learn the religion of Islam.
Coming up, where can students see a former Wartburg faculty member and get a sandwich? WTV's Jeannie Edson reports.
And we'll tell you about a 6-hour music marathon that came together for one cause. We'll be right back. You may have seen him behind a desk, but have you seen retired Vice President for Admissions Gary Grace make a sandwich?
WTV's Jeannie Edson takes a bite of this tasty story. Jeannie?
Thank you, Ben and Kyle. It's not every day you can have a former Wartburg faculty member make you a sandwich. This week, I took a look at Waverly's newest fast food restaurant.
He knows the ins and outs of Wartburg College, but does retired Vice President for Admissions Gary Grace know his lunch meats? Grace has recently opened up a Jimmy John's near campus and is quickly adjusting to the fast food industry.
I've never done anything like this before, but it's been fun. The community's been real supportive. The Wartburg community's been real supportive, and it really doesn't feel like I've left campus. I've seen a lot of my colleagues and a lot of the students, and probably get to see students more often than I did in my old role at Wartburg, so it kind of feels like I'm on campus.
Grace is working to provide an enjoyable restaurant experience for both customers and employees.
It's really fun. Making subs all day is pretty fun. No one in there is really too cranky. Everyone's in a happy mood. They listen to good music, and it's kind of a giant teamwork thing. So we all got to get along and smile at the end.
Grace says there is more than one way to order your favorite sandwich.
There's a phone app now, and they can just make Waverly your favorite, and you can charge it or just have it pay when you come. Please support us.
And employees say you won't regret it.
Best sub ever. All I got to say.
Reporting for WTV News, I'm Jeannie Edson.
Grace says the restaurant is averaging 300 customers a day and credits the Waverly community and Wartburg College for the high turnout.
Thanks, Jeannie. Iowa is officially one of the happiest states in the country. The Gallup Healthways Well-Being Index recently named the 10 happiest states in the U.S. Our Hawkeye State landed in the 9th spot on the list. The survey questions 1,000 people each day for nearly a year about overall life satisfaction. Hawaii topped this year's list, and Pathways counselor Stephanie Newsom says Iowa made the list because of its friendliness.
In Iowa, we're friendly, we're helpful, people are outgoing as far as typically to newcomers, and so I think that's part of the happiness piece.
Students and members of the community gathered in the W for a benefit concert to fight malaria Saturday night. The 6-hour music marathon featured 19 alumni and student artists. Student groups like Festiberg, St. Elizabeth's Chorale, and the Chris Parson Band worked with Wartburg's Malaria Initiative to put on the concert. Some of the performers, like 2002 alum Nick Stevens, says the benefit gives purpose to their performance.
Opportunity for it to do something more in this world and to benefit other people. And so, I mean, I guess for me, that's what my music's always been about. I don't want it to be just about me. I want it to impact this world in some special way.
And as of this morning, Wartburg's Malaria Initiative has officially met their goal of $35,000. You can still donate to their cause by visiting www.wartburg.edu/malaria.
Wartburg's latest performance in its Artist series took the audience to Germany. Einstein, the Practical Bohemian, is a one-man play by actor Ed Metzger about the life of Albert Einstein. The audience not only found out about Einstein's scientific discoveries, but also got a look into his very active social life as well.
You leave the theater, you have something to think about. Not only were you entertained, but you were engrossed in this wonderful machinations of things that he was involved with politically that brought us to the very age that we're in today.
And coming up next,
we talked via Skype to a 6th grade class from Waverly, Iowa.
We'll tell you about one group of Waverly students making national headlines.
And the Catholic Church has a new face from a new place. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Another cut from the sequester is hurting plans for some Washington, D.C. tourists. The White House announced the end of White House tours, which was costing roughly $70,000 per week.
One school in Waverly was personally affected by these cuts, and St. Paul's Elementary was scheduled to have a tour before learning it would be canceled. Following this, the 6th graders launched a campaign that caught nationwide attention. WTV's Kelsey Bemis has more.
One Waverly group of students is proving that with a little hard work, anyone can make a big difference.
We got to be all over the world. We got to be on newspapers in India, China, and Washington, D.C.
The 6th graders of St. Paul's Elementary launched a campaign that went worldwide after their White House tour was canceled.
It wasn't that disappointing because we didn't really know we were going to go to the White House in the first place.
We started it not just for us, but so other people could go too. And we were granted that someone would pay for us, but we turned it down because we want everyone to be able to go and not just us.
What started with a Facebook video led to the students, parents, and faculty at St. Paul's appearing on national news stations.
I can honestly say that we were very much taken by surprise.
The students arrived in D.C. on Friday, where the media attention continued. Republican House Speaker John Boehner invited the students on a specialized tour of the Capitol, which Good Morning America later covered on their Saturday show. Although St. Paul's Elementary students were not able to visit the White House, they are happy the tours may return.
I was really excited when I heard they were going to open the White House. Even if it wasn't our class, it was still pretty cool that we made a difference.
I was really excited because our little class in Iowa made a nationwide difference.
The students say they will continue to fight for the White House tours no matter how long it takes.
The White House is our house. Please let us visit.
Reporting for WTV News, I'm Kelsey Bemis.
To find out more about the campaign, visit www.thewhitehouseIsourhouse.com.
Catholics around the world celebrated the election of the new Pope on Wednesday morning. White smoke rose from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, signaling the election of Argentinian Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Bergoglio has taken the title of Pope Francis I. Pope Francis is the first pope elected from South America.
In response to a recent nuclear threat by North Korea, the U.S. is now loading up on weapons. Steps to expand missile defense will cost $1 billion. In addition to North Korea, Iran is also believed to be continuing effort to develop nuclear weapons. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel says 14 more missile interceptors will be deployed in 4 years. The U.S. will also work with Japan to increase radar capability to improve early warning and tracking.
And a New York City judge stopped what would have been a ban on sodas last week. On Monday, the judge invalidated the city's plan to ban sugary drinks in containers larger than 16 ounces. The Supreme Court judge ruled the limit as arbitrary and capricious. The measure was to take effect Tuesday. New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg said in a Twitter message that the city will appeal.
And Sunday was one of the biggest days for sports fans across the country. 68 Division I men's basketball teams were selected for a chance to be called national champions. Louisville has been named the #1 overall seed. Gonzaga, Kansas, and Indiana joined Louisville as #1 seeds. The first 4 games will begin tomorrow with a full day of tournament action starting up on Thursday. The national championship is scheduled for April 8th. And now let's go over to Shelby Renath for a look at what's coming up in sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports.
The
I'm elated. I'm elated. I'm elated that they get to feel what it's like to go get a national championship. I'm elated for our fans, our college program as a whole.
It was finally the end of the line for Coach Jim Miller's historic career. Could the wrestling team send their leader out in style? Find out in 2 minutes. Welcome back to WTV News. It was a big weekend for the Wartburg wrestling team as they traveled to Cedar Rapids for nationals. All 10 Wartburg wrestlers won the first round on Friday. However, after the quarterfinals, only 7 Knights were still alive. We'll pick up the action on Saturday. Coming into Saturday's sessions, the Knights were still on top with 66 team points. Camacho would fight hard to move on to the finals match. However, it was not meant to be as he fell 2-1. And at the end of the day, he placed third and received All-American honors for the first time. Anderson was able to advance to the finals with his 5-1 semifinals victory. Moroka hoped to do the same, but he would end up losing 6-3. He won his wrestleback match 6-1, and he never gave up, and the 6-2 decision win gave him third place and All-American honors for the second time. At 149 pounds, Silvestri had a tough semifinals match, but he fought hard and came out on top by a final of 5-3, sending him on to the finals Saturday night. Welter won his first match on Saturday 5-0, but he lost the next one 6-4. Welter fought and fought and fought, and finally, after 6 overtime periods, he got the 5-3 victory and 5th place. He also earned All-American honors for the first time. Williams lost his chance to defend his national title at 165 pounds in the semis with an 8-6 loss. He was able to win his wrestleback match, but he couldn't keep it going in the finals match as he lost 8-3. Giving him 4th place and All-American honors for the second time. Fank lost his first match on Saturday by a final of 5-0, sending him to a 7th-8th place match. In that match, he would get the close 1-0 win as he finished in 7th place and earned All-American honors for the second year.
It's a national tournament, it's a dogfight, and that's what we come in expecting, and that's what you saw.
And finally, it was time for the matches everyone was waiting for, the championships. First up was Anderson against Grant Sutter from UW-Whitewater. After his first takedown, it was all Anderson for the rest of the match. Anderson dominated and never let up, winning by a final of 9-1.
I wanted to prove that he shouldn't be on the same stage as me, and that's what they were telling me. So from the start, they were like, get that first takedown, and he'll start to break, so that was the game plan.
Anderson is now a 2-time national champion, and he ends the season undefeated, and he has an overall winning streak of 46. And the last competitor of the evening for the Orange and Black was Silvestri. He faced Greg Sanders from Concordia, Wisconsin. Silvestri struck first, but Sanders tied it right back up. With Silvestri back in the lead, time was winding down. With only 7 seconds remaining, Sanders got the reversal, putting him ahead for good 6-5. Silvestri finished in 2nd place, and he received All-American honors for the second time. In the end, it was the top-ranked Wartburg team with the most team points. Wartburg won its 3rd straight NCAA national championship for the first time in program history and 10th overall title. The Knights ended with 103 points, and Elmhurst finished in 2nd with 82. The Wartburg Grapplers gave legendary Coach Miller one last ride to receive his final national championship trophy.
It's been a blessing to be at Wartburg. It's been a blessing my whole career, actually, but this has topped it off. And I know God put me at Wartburg for a reason, and I'm just really fortunate to be there, and the ride has been just unbelievable.
Now to hear more about the wrestling team's victory, tune into Sports Night tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We also sit down with Anderson and Keller to talk about the big win.
Now, Shelby, National Wrestling back in Cedar Rapids after a few years of hiatus in Wisconsin. What was the atmosphere like down there in Iowa?
It was awesome. There was a ton of energy, a lot of Wartburg fans there, especially Friday night session and then on to Saturday. A lot of people came down, a lot of students and alums. So just the atmosphere, it was incredible. There was so much black and orange support.
And certainly a lot for those fans to cheer about.
Exactly. It was Miller's last year and went out with a bang.
All right.
Thank you. All right, coming up next on WTV News, Wartburg scores
I
an
repeat,
entry.
Old Main has been compromised. Over.
Wartburg earns an entry into the Cedar Rapids Film Festival. Find out more about David's list.
Look at Jen.
I'm gonna call you Franny.
Real Orange Productions' David's List is getting some recognition on the big screen. The student-produced film will be featured at the Cedar Rapids Film Festival next month. The short film was created by students in last year's advanced video production class. Now you can see David's List at the Cedar Rapids Film Festival on April 5th and 6th.
And WTV could be taking home some hardware at the Upper Midwest Regional Student Production Awards. WTV has been nominated for an award in 8 different categories, including newscast, general assignment news, long-form fiction, live sports, public affairs, commercial, editor, and talent. Winners will be announced on April 13th.
And coming up next week on WTV News, It's For the Kids will feature Wartburg's annual dance marathon.
And we'll get an inside look at the life of Taylor Morris with his photographer, Tim Dodd.
And we will also have full coverage of everything going on during Culture Week.
So remember, it's the last WTV News of the year, as well as Sports Night. And speaking of Sports Night, be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 8 for full national wrestling coverage on Sports Night.
We also have one more Good Morning Waverly this week and a few more in May term as well. So be sure to tune into those.
Thanks
have a good night.
very much for joining us, and have a good night.